Mic check, mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Testing, testing. Mic check, mic check. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. All right.
By the way, is anybody live streaming or no? On social media or something? ¿El 23? Pero mira qué avanzado, me encanta. Love it. I started at 23 on the desk.
Mic check, mic check. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Testing, 1, 2, 3. White balance or no? Mic check. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check. Testing, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Good.
Mic check, 3, 2, 1, mic check, 1, 2, 3, probando sonido, mic check. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Ok, vale, gracias.
Hey guys, we're running just a little bit late because the mayor's on her way. Remember the Miami Arena when that opened? That was like I was watching. That's where I saw Guns N' Roses. And I saw the Rolling Stones. I saw the Rolling Stones 7th row center at the
I could only afford to listen to them from the outside. In the parking lot. Great memories. Oh, finally it is. Yeah. And it was great when we'd sit underneath the bathrooms. You don't remember that, do you? And the guy's bathroom was a trough. Didn't even have.
I heard about that.
Hey, in the 50s, things were different.
There'll be the nod, nod, nod. And then
Thank you. Hi. There you go. Perfect. Then the mayor will be here.
We gotta get some balance over here, you all. Balance. Balance it out.
Okay.
Yes.
One more minute. The mayor has just Levine Cava has just arrived. It was a hello. How are you? It's unfortunate. She apologizes to everyone, but she's really making it here. She's running to be here. Yeah.
Listen, everybody else missed it. I don't know what happened. We knew.
Yeah, but you kind of blend a little bit. Okay, take a deep breath. Everything's fine. I apologize.
Oh, no, Mr. Chair, I did not run. I'm fine. I'm good.
And Mayor, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for being here for this important message that we have for our community. And I'm proud to say that Miami is a place where almost everyone wants to be, whether it's for our warm climate and wonderful beaches, our renowned restaurants and hotels, or the eclectic and vibrant energy of our culturally diverse community. We are a destination city for the world. According to the statistics in 2021, over 24 million visitors traveled to Miami-Dade. 50 million passengers went through Miami International Airport last year alone. These numbers also include visitors who come for the exciting special events our community hosts here, like the 2020 Super Bowl, the Ultra Musical event, and the 2022 Formula One race, and this very weekend, the 2023 Formula One Miami Grand Prix. Based on the success of last year's race, millions of racing fans from around the globe will be here this weekend for the second Miami Grand Prix event. So, we in leadership, law enforcement, and our community partners are all united in our mission and our message. And that is that human trafficking, the sexual exploitation of anyone, particularly our children and our youth, will not be tolerated, not in our hometown. So joining me today, who really need no introduction, are our County Mayor, Daniela Levine-Cava. Mayor Levine-Cava has been deeply committed in our partnership aimed at ending human trafficking. She has committed county government resources to ending human trafficking, and I thank you so much for all of your contributions. The chair of our County Board of County Commissioners, Oliver Gilbert, has helped us for years working to help fight human trafficking in our community, and particularly with the stadium and the racetrack. So thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We also want to thank our Metro-Dade Police Department Director Freddie Ramirez. He's not here for a very good reason. His daughter is graduating from medical school today, so he's exactly where he should be, by his daughter's side. But he is well represented here by our Assistant Director, Chris Carruthers, and Major Jorge Aguiar, and Lieutenant Gigi Casas. And we want to thank the Metro-Dade Police Department for all they do every day in helping us. Many of our community police partners, such as our Human Trafficking Task Force, which includes, by the way, 44 police and law enforcement officers working at our Human Trafficking Center. It is led by Commander Danny Mosquera. Danny is, there he is, Danny. Danny Mosquera, thank you so much for all your hard work and commitment. And his Deputy Commander, Alex Martinez. I also want to introduce our Human Trafficking Center Director, Brenda Mezek, who's back here, but she's always front and center on all the fights that we have. And we have Nick Chavez and Yanis Baez, our great lawyers that are working these cases all the time. In fact, they're out day in and out early in the morning rescuing victims and putting criminal cases together. And Jessica Casaparada is also here, and she is an integral part of our human trafficking fight. We also have Ralph Coutier. Ralph is the director and CEO of the Miami-Dade Aviation Department. Ralph, I want to thank you for making it so easy to get the message out and about into our airports and all the digital boards that you have there. Thank you so much. I also want to thank Maria Meyer of the Women's Fund for being a great partner with us. And so we all do this because we know from experience that there are predators who see special events, particularly sporting events, as an opportunity to make illegal money by selling and exploiting the lives and bodies of our young people to the highest bidders. These criminals are human traffickers. Survivors themselves who have been rescued from this exploitation have told us how the increased tourism is often connected with special events, and this is seen by traffickers as opportunities to make big money. Remember, human trafficking is a $150 billion industry worldwide and a $32 billion industry in the United States. Florida is number 3 in the number of human trafficking victims in the nation. I'm sorry to say Miami-Dade is number 1 in Florida. And we are also number 3 in the number of missing children on the reports that go to our National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Sadly, we know that missing children and human trafficking are dangerously connected because 1 in 3 missing children will be approached for commercial sexual exploitation within 48 hours of running away. You may remember our Human Trafficking Awareness Campaign, as I mentioned earlier, for the Super Bowl in 2020. It should be up there on the screen. You remember that was Andre. I'm sorry, that's the Super Bowl there. Those were the billboards that were all around our community. Last year, remember, we had Formula One. We knew that was going to bring an influx of tourists. And so last year, our community and our community leadership, we all rallied together. And you'll see that billboard with the Bocelli family. And again, that was for last year. So to create community human trafficking awareness campaign, we do this because awareness is prevention. So again, today, we stand united with one voice to say to the predators who feel that they can get away with the exploitation and trafficking of our young, again, we say together, not in our town, not in our community, and hence you'll see this billboard that is up and around town, and you'll see the only one missing up here that couldn't be with us is Freddie Ramirez, and I explain to you why. The work of our Human Trafficking Task Force, combined with the resources of the Miami Beach and Miami-Dade police departments, have made significant impact. And I want to give you just a couple of examples of cases, because these are real people. These are real victims who have been abused and have suffered. So we've got to recognize that. I'm going to give you a couple of examples, but I'm not going to go into any details because the cases are pending. So let's take the case of ND. All right, we're going to use initials. He's charged with a life felony of human trafficking of a minor. He met a 16-year-old Canadian victim on Miami Beach and offered to buy her food. She confided in him that she had argued with her parents and she left the hotel room. He then gave her drugs and he drove her to Texas for 1 month. Meanwhile, her parents filed a missing persons report. The victim believed that she was actually having a romantic relationship with ND. This is often what we call the Romeo manipulation, until it changed to coercion. He then allegedly sold drugs, and he would offer her to his customers for additional money. He brings her back to Miami Beach. He allegedly gave her more drugs and alcohol almost every day because she couldn't work while she was sober. By the way, this is not uncommon to anesthetize oneself to numb the pain of abuse. He promised her that if she earned enough, she could sleep in a motel, have a shower. But most nights, she was made to sleep in his car. On the day of her recovery by police, she had told ND she wanted to be back with her parents. In response, the defendant choked her until she thought she was going to die. She was found by Miami Beach police in the streets of Miami Beach, filthy, crying, and with no shoes. Let's take one more example. This case is pending. These great lawyers are the ones that are in charge of these trials. This is pending in just a couple of months. We're going to use the initials SH. He's charged with human trafficking and rape of an 18-year-old victim, female. She was 18, he was 31. They met on an online dating platform, which, by the way, is now how about 40% of our victims are lured and then sold. SH reportedly drove to her hometown in Lakeland, Florida, and he brought her down to a hotel in Miami Springs. He told her that he ran an escort agency and introduced her to a female co-defendant who he said worked for him as an escort. So they took photos of the victim. The victim had never previously engaged in sex, and she could not complete the sexual intercourse with her first paying customer. Yes, she was a virgin. So what did he do? He allegedly raped her. Consumed by fear, the victim allegedly engaged in prostitution for the defendant, told him she wanted to go home. He threatened to kill her family if she went to the police. So he took her back to Lakeland, but he dropped her off at a church. And when he did, he threatened the victim's family, which, by the way, is another common manipulation used by pimps. The victim contacted the police, and they contacted us. One last note on choking. We had another case, still also pending, it's going to trial in a couple of months, where the trafficker set the victim up with 2 prostitution dates in the next hotel. After which she told the trafficker she didn't want to do it anymore. CB, who's the defendant in the case, then allegedly choked her until she passed out. And when she regained consciousness, he allegedly choked her again 4 more times, each time until she passed out. He then dropped her off, visibly bleeding from her ear, at a Motel 7 and told her to make money. The victim called her mother for help, who contacted us, and we then were able to rescue her. As we always do in preparation for these major sporting events, we have coordinated with all of our partners, local, state, and federal, to conduct proactive undercover operations, which of course I can't go into any detail at this moment. These operations lead us to rescue vulnerable victims and missing children who also are at risk of being exploited by traffickers. Such operations help us gather important information that can have life-saving results. We're very proud to report that we have initiated assistance through just the criminal justice system to over 1,000 victims of human trafficking-related crimes. So we are here today to underscore and demonstrate that we will not tolerate such horrific crimes and let all the predators out there beware. Billboards are in place to increase public awareness and other informational media. You'll see here, this one is on, I believe, 27th Avenue and US 1. And we use these billboards to assist also the victims who are looking for a way out of this life of abusive servitude. Again, I repeat, awareness is the first step of prevention. But we can't do this alone. We need your help. We need everyone's help. We need the eyes and ears of this community, and we need the assistance, not just of law enforcement, but the help of people that are working in key industries that interact with our tourists. Our hotel workers. That's one reason the examples we gave today had a common denominator of hotels. We need the managers, we need the owners, restaurant workers, their managers, their owners. And so if you look up here, this is for the airport. This is where our mayor of Dade County, Levine Cava, and the chair, Oliver Gilbert, and Ralph Couture, and everyone at the airport was so helpful in getting these. These are all on digital billboards all throughout the airport. So the airport workers, their managers, and other workers who keep our national and international passenger flow moving smoothly can see this and have an easy way to report it. It's also, we have it out at the seaport for our seaport workers, their managers, and other workers who also see a lot of people moving through our community. Again, I want to thank the mayor, Levine Cava, and our chair, Oliver Gilbert, and as I just said, Ralph Couture, Director of Airport Operations, for all the help that they gave us in this awareness campaign. The way we are also at the Opa-locka and Tamiami airports. One last thing, remember these billboards also give our victims a way of contacting our talented human trafficking team, many of whom you see up here, for the rapid response that we have of care connectors to services and shelter. And you've seen these billboards before. They include our human trafficking hotline and our QR code that connects everyone to our rapid response team. And last but not least, those are the other billboards and other locations that we have. throughout the community. And I want to thank our friends in the private sector who are always good partners to us. At Spanish Broadcasting System, Raul Alarcon Jr. and Albert Martinez for their continued support, and they're donated these billboards for this awareness campaign. And last but not least, I want to thank the Women's Fund again and the National Council of Jewish Women who helped develop the flyers that have been posted in every single bathroom, in every stall at MIA. So our greater Miami community knows the importance of collaboration. We've done this many times in the past. Our countywide partners include the 70-plus members of my Human Trafficking Policy Institute, CVAC, DCF, Christie House, Citrus, all the NGOs and government service providers. Together, we are about saving lives and about saving futures, potentially removing from the streets of our community cold-hearted exploiters who dehumanize the lives of so many through this modern-day slavery that we call human trafficking. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the code, QR code, and that's our hotline. So with that, I'm going to introduce our distinguished mayor, Daniela Levine Cava. Thank you so much.
Thank you much. Lose your glasses there. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm your county mayor, Daniela Levine Cava. I am proud to stand here and work in collaboration with our wonderful state attorney and her office doing so much around this very, very big problem here, and our chairman of the County Commission, Oliver Gilbert, our director, Ralph Coutier of the airport, and our wonderful law enforcement officers who address this issue every day. We have a zero tolerance policy for human trafficking in Miami-Dade County. We say, and it is, human trafficking is slavery, and we do not tolerate it here, not in our county. We will not tolerate it. So we have millions of visitors. You've heard some of the statistics, and sadly, while this is a huge part of our economy, it is also a magnet for this human trafficking. So across the county, we have come together to speak with one voice, unequivocally, that we will not tolerate, we will not stand for it, and we will aggressively pursue justice for those who exploit our people. It has no place here. If you commit this crime, we will find you and we will bring you to justice. Our local law enforcement is very, very well trained and ready. We have 3,000 of our sworn personnel who've received specialized training on how to identify and stop human trafficking. We have a specialized human trafficking squad, and we have the Organized Crime Bureau, and we are focusing on investigating sex and labor trafficking in our county. We don't do this work alone. Of course, we must do it with the other agencies as well as our nonprofit organizations. And I want to say I'm a proud founder of Christie House and have been involved in this work for decades. So it is not new to me to be addressing this issue and have been working hard. And as county mayor, we have renewed and redoubled our commitment, and you've heard some of the actions that we have taken. We launched the Human Trafficking Educational Campaign to increase awareness in 2021, and we've had some good results. We definitely have had good results, but we have to redouble our efforts. Ahead of this much-anticipated Formula One race in Miami Gardens this weekend, we're ramping up our educational and enforcement efforts. Our staff have completed trainings at the port and at the airport in advance of the arrival of millions of visitors to identify potential human trafficking victims that are traveling into Miami for the event. So we urge everyone, if you see something, say something. It's easy to report. We need to hear from you. We've worked collaboratively with our tourism industry, our hotels, our airport staff, to let them be aware and on alert for the telltale signs. Unfortunately, human trafficking affects all genders, all ages, all races, all backgrounds, and so nobody is immune from this scourge. As your mayor, I will continue to fight this abomination and work alongside our partner agencies to bring any perpetrators to justice and to help our victims to achieve justice in their lives. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Madam Mayor. Now we hear from our chairman, Oliver Gilbert.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mostly everything's been said. I would just add this. You know, it's been said that in order for evil to triumph, good men just do nothing. We aren't going to be the people who do nothing. That's not going to be us. We're going to be the people who do everything we can to settle this question that should have been settled thousands of years ago in organized society, that people are not for sale. Look, you can come to Miami-Dade County. You can enjoy our beaches. We want you to enjoy the beach. You can enjoy the wonderful restaurants, the extraordinary nightlife. You can enjoy the race. If it's for a Super Bowl, you can enjoy the Super Bowl. You can do all of those things. The weather, it's wonderful. People aren't for sale. That should have been settled a while ago. We are trying to settle that now. The question isn't whether we believe. The question is whether we all believe as a community. Listen, it's good to have all the police officers, 3,000 trains. It's good to have Miami Beach and Miami-Dade. It's good to have a wonderful state attorney who's doing a great job at this, a wonderful mayor, a police director who's involved and engaged in this issue. It's good to have the county commission. We're all dedicated. But what we really need is the 2.8 million people who live in this county to act like it's your kinfolk. Act like it's your daughter. Act like it's your son. Act like it's your brother. Act like it's your sister. Act like it's them that's missing. Act like it's them that's being trafficked. Act like it's your daughter that's being raped. You act like that. You believe that. If you believe that, if you act like that, then what will happen is you'll be a little extra vigilant. You'll see something. You'll call that number. But because then you would have embodied what we already know, that it affects all of us. It really just affects all of us. We ought to be able to come together behind the proposition that people aren't for sale. We can do this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So now we'll have questions real quick before we go to Spanish. Any questions?
Concerning the consequences on the customer, because that fuels all of this. What can you say related to that to try to?
Some of the undercover operations that we mentioned include going after the buyers, the Johns, and we have increased penalties in Florida, not as much as maybe some of us would like, but over the years it has been increased. The other thing, I don't know if you remember this, we talked about this in 2020 with the Super Bowl. There's a statute that was passed just 2 years ago that if you're caught buying sex with someone, you can find yourself up on a billboard the next morning. And the reason for that was one of the things that everybody in law enforcement knows is oftentimes when the first thing a buyer, a John, would say to the police when he got arrested is my wife going to find out? Is my girlfriend going to find out? Is my boss going to find out? So we as a group were able to convince the Florida legislature that this would be a powerful penalty. So that's something distinctive to Florida that we also talk about in our educational materials.
Could you talk about the number of arrests that were made in last year's Formula 1?
I believe, was that the one that was 20? Or was that Super Bowl? Help me out, the 20 arrests. 40, I'm sorry, thank you. This is Commander Danny Mosquera, and he was telling us that there were over 47 arrests last year at Formula 1. And I believe for 2020, now I got it right, Super Bowl, it was 20 arrests. So you can see, we'd like to think it's not because it's increased activities, because there's increased awareness and increased enforcement and a decrease in tolerance.
47 connected.
Yes. What we say is human trafficking related. Any other questions? And then we'll go to Spanish? Okay. Thank you all so much. If you want to either stay so we don't disturb the Spanish media or break down very quickly, so we need to give them respect and quiet. Okay, looks like. Okay, bye. Bye. Thank you so much for getting me here. Okay. All right. Okay, we ready? If we could close the door, please, Oliver. Terry, sorry. Thank you. Miami es una ciudad destino para el mundo entero. En el 2021, el condado de Miami-Dade recibió más de 24 millones de visitantes y el año pasado hubo 50 millones de pasajeros transitando por el aeropuerto de Miami. Muchos visitantes vienen por eventos especiales como juegos deportivos, festivales de música y eventos como el Formula One Grand Prix de Miami, que tomará lugar en este fin de semana. Por eso nosotros, juntos con los líderes de la comunidad y las agencias del orden público, estamos unidos en nuestra misión y con nuestro mensaje, que el tráfico humano, la explotación sexual de cualquier persona, en particular nuestros niños y jóvenes, no será tolerada en nuestra comunidad. Como siempre hacemos antes de estos grandes eventos, hemos coordinado con todas las agencias locales, estatales y federales para realizar operaciones encubiertas y proactivas para combatir el tráfico humano. Esto nos permite rescatar a las víctimas vulnerables y a los niños desaparecidos. También nos ayudan a juntar información importante que puede salvar vidas. Sabemos que los exploradores usan eventos grandes para ganar dinero ilegal viviendo a nuestros jóvenes por sexo. Recuerden, el tráfico humano es una industria de 150 mil millones de dólares en todo el mundo y una industria de 32 mil millones en los Estados Unidos.
¿Nos puedes explicar un ejemplo de cómo se puede ver el tráfico humano en un evento deportivo?
¿Puedo terminar? Oh, that's okay. That's okay. No problem. Uno de cada 3 de ellos serán abordados para ser explotados sexualmente durante las primeras 48 horas de huir de casa. Por eso es tan importante que todos estemos con los ojos abiertos y que reportemos si vemos o sospechamos el tráfico humano en nuestra comunidad. Tenemos una línea directa que activa un equipo de respuesta rápida. Por favor, ayúdenos a salvar las vidas a las víctimas del tráfico humano y para limpiar nuestras calles de exploradores sexuales. En este momento voy a introducir nuestra alcaldesa, Daniela Levin Cava. Gracias.
Daniela Levin Cava, la alcaldesa del condado, y estoy muy agradecida de estar aquí junta con la estatal y los representantes de nuestra protección, los policías, los estatales y todos que nos protejan todo el año y especialmente durante estas ocasiones especiales que traen millones de visitantes al condado. Desafortunadamente vienen para gozar, pero también hay mucho tráfico sexual que viene adelante. Y por eso estamos unidos en decir que aquí no vamos a soportar nada de explotación, de tráfico humano, sexual, y no en este condado. Decimos juntos que no en este condado. Tenemos 3,000 policía entrenado específicamente en cómo identificar y responder al tráfico humano y un buró específicamente enfocado en los crímenes sexuales. Y no podemos trabajar solamente sin la ayuda de todos que son representados acá. Y queremos decir que si se ve algo, tiene que reportar. Es muy importante. Y como ha dicho nuestro jefe de la comisión antes, si tratamos todos como si fuera nuestra familia, vamos a tomar más atención, más preocupación y con eso podemos seguir adelante con la justicia para todos. Ya estamos atacando, identificando, trayendo a la justicia, pero juntos podemos hacer más y evitar la explotación de nuestros niños y jóvenes. Gracias.
No, gracias, Alcaldesa. Okay, any questions, or we were going to do individuals?
Sorry about that.
That's all right. No, no, no.
Can you talk to us about in Spanish los arrestos, cuántos números hicieron el año pasado comparado con el Super Bowl y la Fórmula 1?
Sí. Bueno, el año pasado, para el Fórmula 1, que fue el primer año, hemos tenido más de 47 arrestos que estaba en relación de Fórmula 1. El año antes del Super Bowl 2020, hemos tenido más de 20 arrestos por este evento. Ok, bueno, gracias a todos, gracias.
Thank you. Sorry, what happened? All I had was the text from you this morning, which I didn't see.